and the enemy team is up 8k gold.
カリスタのバン
Really matter.
Yeah, it becomes a little trickier. Genji
Oh, yeah.
are also very
さっきの試合を経
hamstrung by
験
the
して
fact that
カリスタ
Dawn
消し
lost
ま
the
した
top lane matchup, so now
Yes.
they have to rely on banning Jax on both sides of the Rift.
おー
Jarvan,
ジャーバン
the
ファース
first
ト
lot
ピッ
here
クしていく
for BLG. Xayah, Orianna both made their way through draft so far. The Kalista banned away by Genji as their final ban.
And this is something that T1 did
Xayah
as
はど
well.
う
So
したんだろう
BLG actually taking the lessons from that series, prioritizing that
ザヤの
Jarvan
ティアは
as
下
a
がっ
really
たのか
versatile
な
early jungler.
And Shun, I think overall had an
今
incredible
まで
game
ずっと
one
出てたん
now.
だけど
Genji,
な
they
ザヤ
can look to something like a Sejuani priority if they want to. I wonder if
アフェリオス
well, they kind of got to do it before I got to sound all clever. I was going to say Aphelios could be a priority,
That's
but
really clever, actually.
thank you,
Yeah,
Medic.
good on
Thank you
you.
so much.
Good prep.
Not that great of a prediction considering they did prioritize it in the last game. But I do wonder what whether or not they want to try and take away something like the Renata, or whether or not they want to answer with they want to leave it up. With the intent of counterpicking it for later on.
Maokai.
Alright, so we are going to see Peanut back on the Maokai. So far at this tournament, he's played, well, he's played Maokai. He's played one game of, well actually no, this will be his first game of Maokai. I
Yeah.
apologize, my
え
mistake.
ークレムゾンさん
Maokai
こん
and
にちは
Peanut,
です
something
Oh,
that
yeah.
I can often
BLG
associate with him as a
応援してますか
player.
Yeah,
T1 優
domestically
勝のた
he
め
had
に
played basically an infinity amount of games, and BLG
そして
with the
ト
Rumble
ップミッド
Orianna.
最強キャラクターに
Yeah,
体と
it's
あり
not
ま
like
した
this is what
ランブ
everyone
ル
is
オリア
hoping
が
to get, Rumble plus Orianna.
And Genji gave it up for Aphelios Maokai,
That they
guys.
did.
That's a big trade that you're willing to make.
ランブルに対してエイトロッ
Not
クス
only that, but one of the biggest weaknesses that
よくピッ
Aphelios
クされま
struggles
す
with,
ね
even in games where the player piloting is very, very good, and I think that pace falls in that category,
definitely.
is that if you get outranged, like what are you gonna do? Rumble drops an equalizer. If there's an Orianna ball, you're not gonna be able to actually get into the team fight. I think playing into Jarvan specifically also is tough because the Cataclysm, the fact that you can get stuck very
ランブルオリアナ
easily.
両方
And
渡しましたよ
then even if you like end up picking
最
a
強チャン
Kanch
ピオンに
and you
対
have the Aphelios, so you get eaten, like you're still not doing anything in the fight.
Yep. You're negating an entire damage source through the fight. Xayah
Jinx
was
ban.
available. We've seen pays on it 3 times
ザヤは
so
どこに
far
行ったん
here.
だもう出てこないのか
MSI, and I was so
Saying it
confused
bans,
that they decided to go for the Aphelios first, but as you said, and well predicted there, Betty, because I think a lot of people would have thought the Xayah was going to come out instead.
Genji
Jinx
マジかと言われ
handed
て
away
ま
now by
す
Genji.
マジか
Yone removed by BLG, trying to get rid of some of those AD threats in the mid lane. Maokai, obviously, predominantly AP in terms of his damage
Yone
profile.
ban.
Ash banned away, so
Chobi no
still
Yone.
Xayah for BLG if they want it.
They could do Xayah Nautilus, they could
Yeah.
do Xayah Alistair, they could do Xayah. They're trying to limit AD mid or
Akali
Chobi
da.
right now. The Akali actually going to be taken away.
赤いで
Things like
KD100 以
Jace
上
and
獲得した
Tristana are
男
both
チョ
available
ビ
for Genji though.
And that
Kazi
Akali ban,
de.
obviously something we saw from Chovy against T1, even though he did fall behind Faker in the laning phase. He had such threat on the side lane, and once again, Chovy's going to bring out the Azir.
Yeah, and I really gotta say, I think the ban phase is really good because Chovy loves to play his Yone. That's something that is very well known. But the Akali is something that he already showed with. Even though the laning phase is really rough, you're able to outskill the Orianna in side lane, and she basically doesn't get to play the game. I personally love the Caitlyn Lux lane. If you want to go towards that game, but maybe they're afraid of a R5 pick by the light.
ケイトラックスい
Maybe.
や
I
これ
also just
ザ
think
ヤ
Xayah's
と
really strong. Like, I understand
I agree.
you can dominate the lane if you get a good Caitlyn Lux, but maybe something weird comes out from Genji. Xayah Renata, you already have great engage with Equalizer into Cataclysm into Shockwave combo. Xayah self-heals, Renata can peel her as well. And in all honesty, if I entirely nameplates off, even with nameplates on, damn it, BLG have a
ジェンジの勝率
composition
50%
which
以下
should
で
be
すか
able just to take over the game.
In theory, yes. Often
そして
though, when we get onto the
アーセリオス
Rift
右を
Medic, theory doesn't always pan out in
True.
practice. What we do know is that Shun's Jarvan is something that Genji need to be afraid of in the early game. When we look at kind of where BLG can play in the early game, they have a lot of options.
昨日
Expectations
の
are
レ
they
イボ
will
ー
look
ゲ
to
ーミン
play
グの
through
アフィロ
bots
ス
once
右
again
を
early
と
on
んで
into
も
the
ない
game.
パワーしてましたね
This top matchup is going to be super interesting. Rumble into Aatrox is something that, well, we haven't seen a huge amount in the patch. Like, the Shy kind of introduced this new build on the Aatrox that's been kind of finding a lot of success, especially in the
BO3、BO5 で1
later
試合
game
目
team
渡したら
fights.
ジェンジほとんど
And
負
I'm
けて
curious
る
as
の
to how
か
Doran is going to match up against Bin this time round, because they tried to pinch Bin, it didn't really work. Now he's been given a champion that we know that he's comfortable on. So how are you going to manage that? Are you going to try and invest everything into shutting Bin down and trying to get drawn ahead at the potential cost of your bot side of the map? The pressure really is on GENG to come up with a solution to deal with BLG's aggression as we're getting into game 2.
フェイカーが優勝しますよ。フェイカーが。
Relying on Peanut for the majority of their engages on that Maokai. Delight on Melio. I like the Melio pick in terms of what it gives you. You know, the shields, the heals, the extra range, and obviously the breath of light to get out of a hostile takeover. But I don't like it because I know what Delight can do when he has something he can roam around the map on. When he can have an impact here, it feels a little hamstrung.
始まります。
We'll see what GENG can do though because
BLG 対GENGの
they
2
lost
試合
game
目。
one, being elected to be on the red side, and this is what they have conjured for us. Remember that you can log in with your Riot account on lolesports.com and watch Worlds live to earn exclusive Worlds emotes and icons. Chronicler, you've been showing me you want to talk for a while as Delight steps up, but On and Yagao should be able to walk away.
Yeah, so what I want to answer after a draft like that and GENG picking red side is, was this worth it? Do you feel like being on red side gave you what you wanted? And it's gonna be like, no, not really. I don't think that this is really making use of a lot of the powers of red side, right? Being able to get good lane matchups, so that at the very least you're gonna be able to consistently bully. Because Bin getting Huni is actually costing here in the arena as well, and I'm 100% certain he's giving his thumbs up. You know, Bin going for the ignite here. Do think that is definitely the right call. Gives you so much more kill threat, but. Like, so that matchup is very Rumble favored. Then Shun after a
最上チャンピオンのランブルとオリアナ取れてるのとかちょっと気になりますよ。
once, and then outside of that was just a
Ignite
very
Rumble.
consistent Oriana. And you get Aphelios again with Nelio, which is okay, but it's not like you're going to be able to bully the
確かにまだあれば最強チャンピオンですよ、オリアナ。 でも最近涙を購入する人が少ないです、オリアナで。これ僕の涙アンチ活動は正しかったということの証明ですか。
Early game, I didn't really think that there were many issues. Peanut was going toe to toe. He was finding a couple of advantages, but they did fall short in the top lane 1 versus 1. Okay, that's fine. They were struggling due to the pressure that happened on the bot side of the map.
いくら長尾でもアジーレだとちょっとやれることが少ないか。
Peanut's rel to actually start fights for them, and the problem with Aphelios Azir is it's hard for them to really find opportunities by themselves. So coming into this game, I was thinking in the same line of like, what do they now have different things? And the reality is that, okay, they have an Aatrox flank, which you could argue is a little bit more threatening than that of a Jax. But the Maokai ultimate is something that, while offering zone control, I'm not entirely sure if it's necessarily that stronger of an engage. So I'm still concerned with GENG's ability to actually find fights as we approach the mid game. As you see BLG once again have priority top, they have priority bot, while mid remains relatively even.
One thing the GENG composition does do well is disengage if they need to. Maokai ultimate, the Midio, and obviously the Azir. So if BLG do overstep for a fight, we could see that. But the handshake on Paze in the bottom lane, warm hugs from Delight. That shield coming out, keeping Paze topped up around 300 health. The heal early here as they look for the chase. Elk and On both have their flashes. Elk already invested a ghost flash forward, twisted advance, knocked back onto On. And GENG to this tune in game 1. The bailout coming out, On will be brought back. And now Delight is next on the menu, and Elk can turn it around. Double buff for him. It's going to be 2 minutes flash from Delight. Got escape from Elk. 2 kills to BLG in the bottom lane.
This bottom lane is terrifying. Wow, what a play from On. The fact that they just said, focus Peanut, and then he brought him back into range of Elk to get that execution. If nothing else, they were going to get a 1-for-1. They turned him into 2-1. Now BLG look for the dive.
Knock up on door, and he tries to flash away, but the chase is there, and the ignite is ticking. Bing tanking the tower shots to flash away. Peanut trying to answer as well, but he can't face the might of BLG's top and jungle.
He just doesn't have the damage available. He's still level 3, and in the short span of 4 minutes, Bin's ahead.
アフェリオスが CS 全部捨てたのに
Yeah, he got a kill, but he's facing
1キルしか取れなくてザイにダブルキルダブルバフ
Picked up 2 kills, And everything is on fire for GENG. Only 4.5 minutes in, they're 2k gold down.
見てください、
And
ボ
even
トム
Rapina
CS さ
investing the resources to bot lane gang backfires.
13 CS
And on
さ
top side, he's unable to save Doran.
At
2レード
MSI,
以上
it was all about
差がついてま
Elkin
す
It was all about these two coming up
これ
clutch.
このミニオン
We're
の
gonna
数
watch back. Keep your eyes on for the most part. He's gonna burn an early flash. The moment that they see that, Peanut commits the flash as
僕も
well.
ピッケン
Look
は
what they
諦
do.
め
The
ました
ignite and the damage gets
さらば
dropped onto
ジェンジ
Peanut. Then the bailout goes on, keeping him alive long enough to assist Elkin getting that kill. Then the flash
これ
committed
フラッ
from
シュうま
Elk
か
to
ったん
left
で
us
す
the
けど
smart
ね
thing and trying to flash away. But a nice snipe from the Q. It means that Elk walks away with a double. And the light goes out for all.
レアカのダブル強かったな
BLG bot lane can do to you. I think at MSI we
確か
questioned
に
whether Elk would
ドッ
have
トレーン
a
ミ
few
リオア
happy
フェロス
moments
ガ
known
ン
for
ク
them.
合わせる
A little
力
bit
はないですよ
overeager at times to find a good play. Since
かな
then
り
he
無
has
理やり
been
ガン
so
口に行ったんです
consistent.
け
He's
ど
been such an integral part of the 15-1 record that BLG maintained through the regular season. Shun here smites away. On is looking for a little
そ
bit
し
more.
て当然ドラゴンも取られると
Has flash though. They look for Peanut. The handshake's gonna pull him back at Peanut. Even in the cozy campfire will find nothing but death and despair. Pays now chased away, has the flash to get across the wall to try and turn onto Shun, but Pays has to burn his flash as Chovy goes in, but Shun!
いやーこれもチー取れず
Before the bailout was on him, wouldn't have revived him, but BLG are just outplaying GENG.
And it's the same mistake that GENG made last time, but this time it backfires even more. They go all in, trying to contest. Chovy isn't level 6 yet, needs to finish his back, then teleport towards the bot side turret just to try and be a part of that play. And now Elk is 3-0, and the Drake goes over to BLG.
Now, what is GENG doing right now? We saw it in the previous game. They tried to fight the second Herald and they ended up falling. They're trying to fight this dragon rather than potentially looking for a cross map.
今年の
We
ジェン
talked
ジ
about
を
how this is
信じ
something
ていたん
that
ですけ
they
れ
have
ども
often struggled with, but expectations were so high. I thought this GENG is different, but the pressure, it feels like that it's beginning to mount for GENG.
And it's
韓国で圧倒的に最強だったジェンジ
that this team
苦しんでます
under-delivers, right? They've been the number 1 seed from the LCK for 3 years. I think finals last year, or semifinals rather.
時代
It's
ですかねこ
understandable.
れは
BLX, their run was insane. They lost to the eventual world
で
champion.
も
even though I
LPL も
think
韓
they
国人います
struggled
か
with a
ら
lot of the same issues.
これはずるいですよ
That's one thing. Then BLG smashing them
LPL の韓国人選手も全員韓国に呼び戻してドリーム
That
チーム
one
作ろう
was and felt backbreaking, but if they would go down in the same way the third time in a row, it would be a disaster for this GENG, who domestically again have been the most consistent team in the LCK over the last 2 years. Even though they didn't win spring in 2022,
さや7分
it
で
was
クラ
them
ーケン
fighting against T1, and right now we're seeing nothing. BLG are just outplaying them on every front of the game here.
And although BLG had a few hiccups in the playoffs over in the LPL, he continued to impress. There's the equalizer down as Doran walks out with the world ender, but those wings can only carry him back to the safety of his tower. I thought for GENG as well, like, you're in Korea, man. You're in Busan, in front of your home crowd, and you are struggling. The weight of expectation grows ever stronger as the light force low ignites it on him, but he'll be able to walk away. Shun has been spotted on this ward, though. Peanut's trying to answer, still only level 5. Shun knows it. There's little cats, the saplings, spotting him out, but all he really wants to do is make sure Elkin can continue to push in. A Kraken Slayer was finished at 6.5 minutes in this game for the Xayah. And there's another plate falling to BLG. Plays is fine, but probably doesn't feel it in the game right now.
I mean, the damage is already done, right? Because you have a composition that I'd argue in scaling and ease of execution favors BLG.
アフェロスはちゃんとカルでファームしてますよ
There are a lot of elements on GENG, the Azir and the Aphelios, and I think the
GENG
melee
さん
helps a little bit.
韓国国内ではすごい
Is sitting on a Kraken Slayer,
圧倒的だったんですけど
while Pace is sitting on
相
Berserker
手も
Greaves
強いってことですか
and
こ
have
れ
done
は
both. That's not going to be enough. The amount of blade load going over is immense, and GENG look even more lost in this game than they were in the last
ここ
one.
の選手は間違いなく強いでしょう
If Pace doesn't have flash, how does he survive a fight? You know, like,
That's
No
the
Tom
neat
Kench
thing.
to either
that's
of
the
them.
thing.
doesn't.
In game 1, the whole idea behind the Tom Kench and the
強いですけれ
Java
ども
trade
国
was
際
that
戦にな
you
る
could
と
take Pace away to safety, but this time
毎
around,
年苦しんでいる印象
it's,
がありま
it's
す
going to be
ね
a different story. Of course, GENG already find themselves at a massive deficit, 3k gold down and huge credit to BLG. They've had so many question marks surrounding them. They fell short to LNG in the LPL playoffs. Their tournament run has not been even remotely clean, right? They struggled against the European teams. Fnatic, they had a difficult early game. They had to find a big team fight to come back into that game. And then against G2, they looked very convincing for the last part outside of losing game 2. Doran now going for a bit of a trade. Nice trading against Bin.
On his way with a Nature's Grasp as well, but you can see Shun ready to react. Bin booted up. Shun is on his way to equalize it down, and Dorman's burning. Bin trying to turn it around, and Dorman will fall first, and Peanut's buried next to his brother as BLG strikes.
Bin just refuses to fall. The man in the top lane, touted as one of, if not the best top laner in the world, finds a double kill with the help of his jungler. 6-1 in kills. 4.5k is the gold lead, and we're only 10 minutes in.
And yeah, there it is. The feature matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. Doran versus Bin. It's not close. It's just the power of that Ignite Rumble, right? Especially against something like an Aatrox, which with enough time can sustain through the initial burst of most champions. Bin starts off with the Ignite very early on, is able to flash out of Doran trying to set up the Peanut, and then Peanut, Doran, no, like we're already all in, we gotta try and make this work, but Shun with perfect timing, able to counter the play. And GEN, they're not getting anything.
The crazy thing is, Bin's the least of your worries. You had a 2k gold lead in the AD carry matchup.
アフロスのボットがレーニングできないからアジェルボットに呼びましたよ。
farming well in the mid lane. He knows that his impact is going to come in the team fights, and
なぜなんだ、ジェンジメンバーは変わってるはずなのに。
And it is a 5,000 gold lead, 2 Drakes and a Herald to BLG. The scoreline reads 6-1. Bot lane towers about to fall as 5 plates have already been brought off there. Mid lane, we've already got a plate gone down. Top lane, we've already got a plate gone down. This is as one-sided as, with a little bit of exaggeration, any game we have seen at Worlds. As the TP comes up towards the top lane, Chovy's going to knock Bin back, and finally, GEN are finding something proactive. Bin is going to try and get his way away here. Will fall down. Equalize on the way to make sure it's cleared out. GEN find a small glimpse of hope, but oh, how small it is.
It's just not enough, right? And for me, the really telling thing is
that when you look at this game, who are the players on GEN you feel like are incredible?
It's the veterans, right? It's Peanut, who has the longest career out of any of these players. Doran is still really struggling against Bin. And Chovy, I think, in his case, is playing on Azir. It's hard to really get anything going. Has been trying his best, but it just doesn't feel like it's enough.
And El's going to get 8 plates at least. He's in the top lane. Shun is here with the Rift Herald as well if they want to invest it. They could, of course, use it mid. You've got a minute and a half before the plates fall off. Chovy's going to try and tickle Shun to make sure he can't push too far forward. But On is here. Chovy, Peanut, and Delight trying to defend the tower. Doran on his way up as well. Yagao joins the fray. Another plate falls as Elk gets his 7th of the game. The Rift Herald now down. Elk autoed the tower recently enough. With his Rift Herald charge coming in, he'll be splitting that gold with his jungler. On got a piece as well. 1.5k lead now just on the AD carry.
It's
ゴールド差がすごいですよ。
just a slaughter right now for BLG.
ADC も2000ゴールド近い差があります。
They're gonna have to throw for GEN to win this game. Like, you can talk about the scaling as much as you want, but I feel like GEN's comp this game is the same problems that it has last game, because its foundation is revolving around this Azir Aphelios, and in theory, the range gives you a big advantage. But in practice, how do you get to actually leverage that range?
It's a really good comp if you're ahead and on objectives first.
I mean, sure, but even then, like, I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, Rumble Ultimate is really good at separating your front line from the back line. It's also got incredible range itself. Jarvan Ultimate, EQ ult combined with the Rumble ult. You can also put an Orianna ball on top. There's a reason at Worlds this trio has been so terrifying, and GEN have just let them have it. And the craziest thing about it is it's not even that side of the map that built this early game lead. It's the bot lane 2 versus 2, the Xayah that's been the most terrified. Now Chovy is in danger.
Has his flash. Shouldn't look for more, but isn't going to get the flag and drag flash away from Chovy as Elk and On were working their way up towards the top side. Rift held up in 30 seconds as well.
Nice timing there from Chovy. because your E can be interrupted by the Jarvan ultimate. The goal there from Shun was to get the flash. The fact that they ultimately got it, still a big win for BLG.
Yeah, I think Chovy there, if he gets tagged by the Harpoon, was afraid that the slow plus Ignite and Rumble will be enough to finish him off.
And it probably would have been.
It would. Oh yeah, he has a Night Harvester and Sorkpan boots. Bin is to be respected on the Rumble here. And yeah, for GENG, like you're looking at that is a lane economy snapshot that, for me on a personal level, not the best, but you gotta respect what BLG have been able to do, winning every single lane.
In that MasterCard lane economy snapshot, 600 gold lead in the top lane, great. 1,000 in the jungle, 200 in the mid lane, 1.6k in the bot lane, 1.4k in the support for everything else. Obviously, there is MasterCard. It's been a pretty priceless game so far for BLG, hasn't it? As they start with well.
You upset me.
Fun? He's good, man. The problem is, they dug their own grave here. And that's why I am not too... I don't feel too sorry for them, I'll be honest. When you pick a Felios Maokai first on red side and you give up Rumble, Jarvan, Orianna and Xayah somehow, you expect the game to go like
that. The most egregious is the fact that Xayah made it through the second ban phase.
And it's also... Pace loves Xayah.
明治サポートで ADC を盾にしながら後ろでスキル打ってる人結構いますよ。
That doesn't apply. And it really makes me wonder, as mentioned, GENG, we haven't seen a lot of them. They only played 4 games, right? And after that, they didn't play for like a week and a half. And right now, I feel like their mega range is...
What?
Aatrox
What on earth? Peanut and Doran have been possessed in these last 2 games. The Magma Storm engage in the river, and then Doran is just flashing the wall. So it's probably just timing someone's flash, but he just flashes in. Maybe he thought he could catch Elk. They did have a ward in there, but now that's the 3rd Drake of the game over to BLG, and it is looking dire for GENG.
I'm perplexed. I am. Like, it has to have been what you were saying. He must have been like timing the summoner spells, and he just didn't press enter. And
いやもう3ドラゴンですよ。16分50秒で。そして2体目のヘラルド。
Hey, I'm a glass half full
タワーも破壊で
It
す。
doesn't really matter. It's fine. You know, that's the
If you're gonna do it in any
problem
game,
in this game. Yeah, this game is a throwaway anyway. It's fine, Doran. Don't let it
どうで
get
す
to
か
you, man.
これ今から勝つ方法あるんだったら誰か教えてほし
I'll
い
give you the benefit of the doubt of even using like before the name change, like all that. When have
こ
GENG
のまま
reverse
何も
swept?
起こらずに
Have they?
I don't
終わる
think,
未
because
来し
I
か
know
見え
there's
ない
a very low amount of reverse sweeps at Worlds. I think it's like only in knockouts it's like 3 or 4.
But also just like domestically, GENG, do they even reverse sweep a lot domestically?
They don't usually need to because they just win domestically. This team is so good, and that's why it's so surprising to see them play like this.
I wouldn't say surprising. I would say frustrating. I don't think it's surprising because we've seen it happen before at MSI.
さすがにちょっとゲームのペースが速すぎる。
And they go.
They do find
here we
engage
go.
onto Shun. He has the flash, goes in with the cataclysm, and now there's the TP. Hostile takeover from
Battle
Rob as well. He's gonna catch
開始。
two. The equalizer down, and Chovy is burning in the
Aya,
river. Lava
Chovy
underneath his
死亡。
speed is Doran. Probably regretting that lack of flash now as Yagao catches him with the shockwave. The EQ combo from Shun sends him to an early grave. And the Church of Chovy is in session. You can hear it silent here.
降参投票ありで
What
したっ
they're
け
praying to doesn't seem to be
ダメな
listening
の
right
かな
now.
BLG are going to use this numbers advantage to put pressure onto the mid tier 2. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to take this one, but pressure on the top side as well. This will give them full
どこ
vision
盛ります
control.
か相
The
手の
good
ド
news
リン
for
クに
GENG is there really isn't anything on the map for
そ
BLG
れ
to
かパンチ
take.
しますかパンチ
That's what we've gotten to.
That's-
Yeah, there's no
We've
objective on
cast
the
enough
map.
EU teams versus LPL and LCK teams. We know where to go in this moment.
That's the bright side, buddy. There's not that much that they can really do off the back of that, but let's look. So Jun gets spotted thanks to the sapling, and so GENG see this as an opportunity to find a pick.
一応できることはできるのか
Followed up
し
by
てはい
that
けないという
Renata
ことにはな
ultimate.
ってい
God,
て
so
も
much zone control. You wouldn't think of the river as a choke point, but to Renata, it definitely seems like it. And BLG, they find 2 quick kills.
I just want to reiterate.
いや
that was without
ーゴールド
their
差ありすぎ
3-0
て集団戦も勝てず
Elk was not there.
Elk is suntanning on the beach in Busan right now,
living
and
his
he's
best
just
life,
waiting
man.
for the phone call where they were like, hey, you ready to end the game? And he'd be like, all right.
Can you please make it over? He's like, but I'm having a nice time.
Yeah,
You know, it's the last days of fall. Busan is
200
beautiful.
CS, he's Chovy and
でも
Chovy
この
right
ゲーム
now.
残酷だからな。
And we joke and we prod, but we
残
do
酷な
so
ゲー
because
ムだ
this
から
game feels pretty much done so.
ここまで
Genji
差がつい
obviously
ちゃうと
can
も
still
う
fight back. They do have tools at their disposal. If they can get to 2-3 items, if BLG make mistakes, they can jump in onto them. But BLG just haven't been making too many mistakes through these games. There's the nature's class as Genji look for something. Bamming up in 10 seconds. If you find a fight here, maybe you can turn it into more. The hostile takeover being popped. Chovy
い
dodges
や
away
俺ら
from
の
the
ゾーニン
shockwave
グ
as
で味
Peanuts in
方
the
が
back
ダ
of
メ
the
ージ
pit.
出せず
Doran trying to get onto Elk, but Elk's yet untouched. And Doran,
Ah.
the warm hugs are not enough to keep him alive as Elk flashes forward.
2回
Hayes
0-2 から
is about to
3
meet
連
his
勝
maker as Elk sends him into the dirt.
And BLG see that one coming from a mile
3人
away.
死亡です
Genji
全
in the desperation try to get anything.
まあ
force
この
a
試合
fight, but with the
もう
summer
忘れ
still
よう
available, it's just not
次
enough.
頑張ろう
And BLG about to take Baron and a resounding 2-0 lead in this series. Surely from here on out, within a minute, the Infernal Soul spawning.
うわこのままやってて
The
も
call comes through.
どっちに
The
しろ
boys
勝てない
say,
から
"Elk, we need you." And
ファイ
without
ト
a
しに行こう
moment's
ということだと
hesitation,
思うんで
he
すけど
shows up for the squad. Look at this. They initially go
これ
onto
オリアナの
the
ゴ
ultimate
ールで
is
味
good.
方
So
が
they shockwave
ダ
from
メージ出しに
Yagao.
行けません
While
で
it
した
does
ね
this, it keeps Pays and Chovy out of the fight, and then Doran tries to engage isolated. Elk
いやー
starts off
ザヤ
there, but
強
he
す
says,
ぎ
I'm
る
not done quite yet. Flashes in, knows that Genji is on the retreat, and with his ultimate,
はいよ
finishes
ー
off the bot lane of Genji. Fantastic performance from him. 6-0-0 on the Zaya. He has a 700 bounty to his name. But I don't think anyone from Genji will be claiming that anytime soon.
10,500 gold, now the lead for BLG, 21 minutes into the game. The Infernal Soul spawning in 20 seconds. Maybe Genji can find one last bastion of defense around it, but they are just so far behind. It's 2.5 items on Elk, it's 2.5 items on Yagao. Only one
ちょ
apiece
っ
for
と
Chovy
今
and Pace.
回
They
の
do
2
have
試合は
bits
トラウマ
of
に
their
なりそうで
necks,
すよ
but they are too far behind, it feels.
And I really do
こ
feel
こまで
like
一方
we're
的になって
seeing
しまうの
the
か
return of the regular season BLG.
韓国最強のチームが
A bit of an up and down, well, few weeks, few months since their playoffs. But this team, when they get a
温
lead,
存
they look like one of,
ちょっ
if
と
not
温
the
存
best
しす
team
ぎ
in the
た
world. They are
これ
just
は
so ruthless with how aggressive they are off the back of these early game advantages. And Chovy will
おー
sidestep
ステップ
the
でかわしてい
shockwave,
く
but huge props to BLG. I did not tout them as favorite.
お
Oh,
こ
Chovy.
ちらもかわしてい
Neither of the
く
mid laners able to hit their ultimates in that trade. Yagao has a 2-level lead as well, and now is chasing Chovy and Peanut down. Chovy has to flash away. Peanut trying to
Oh.
trade back in, but remember there's an Infernal Soul.
俺らフラッシュインでアジンにプレッシャーを
The
かけ
sudden
てい
this
く
comes down
けれ
as
ども
Peanut continues to be forced away. The rest of BLG are looking
インファーナルソウル
for
パンチ
the
が強いで
nexus.
すわ
Yagao keeps everyone interested as the
あのお
equalizer
家燃えて
pops
ま
on
す
Pace.
That's TP.
Doran trying to defend.
Oh,
Been pulled
Gina.
back. TP available for Yagao as now he recalls. Elk takes the first Nexus tower and BLG start to disengage.
I'm pretty sure Yagao actually flashed Chovy.
Oh, Pace is
じゃあインファーナルパンチが痛すぎる
That keeps Pace alive, but now
そして画面の感じで
Shun
エイト
are
ロックス
looking for
死亡
more. They've taken Doran. Bin will fall. Yagao TP's in. No shockwave on him for about 20 seconds. But the EQ flash onto Chovy. He dashes
ショー
in.
ビーさんの他のチャンピオンも見てみたいですな
Feathers fly and Genji die in their own base.
DLG さん質問心ないんか
20 seconds more. Pace
強
has
すぎる
flash. No ult. No dash
Yeah.
away as he now flashes to escape. Only
ま
the
だあるか
cannon
これ
minions surviving here, but BLG makes the push a little bit harder. And it looks like they will
キルが取れ
finally
ない
disengage.
BLG have done the damage that they need to. The gold lead, nearly 13k now. Not that it really matters at this point. And this is just a slaughter. What is there really to break down? Yagao generating
Infernal
pressure on the top
Sword
side of the map.
パンチが強すぎ
Shun
る
engages onto Doran. He gets executed. Pays is forced to flash away on the right-hand side of the fight.
まあランブルはキルしたランブルは
One
倒
goes
したけ
for
ど
a bit of a cheeky flash play. The
Javaの
knock-up on the
一フラッシュ
Chovy means that he loses his life as well.
ショービーもう逃げられないから前に行ってダメージ出すけどダメージ足らず
And you can see from some of these fights, if it was a more even battleground, Genji would have a chance. TP away. Doran will escape. No CC
こ
there.
こまで差が
On
ついて
unable to
し
get
まう
the
とは
handshake in time.
Yay!
一
He
番
makes it out!
一番3000
Gotta
ゴールドさん
see these small advantages. That's a very
Yeah.
Westerner approach.
なんで今のリコ
I
ール
mean,
で
yeah,
きるん
as
で
you
すか
earlier said, Betty, like what do you say? There's BLG
リ
is
コール
just
は
every
リ
single
コール
lane
直
is
前だ
winning.
ったらダメージ
In
食
the
らっても
draft, I think that Gen G,
リコールで
as
きます
mentioned, picked red side. What did they have to show for it? Basically nothing, except the Milio, which was faced with a 2-0 Zaya like 4 minutes into the game. And BLG are about to set up for a extremely strong position in this best of 5.
I wonder if Gen G will switch over to the blue side once again.
You gotta
They do have
imagine.
side selection for the final game. Maybe bring a different rabbit out of the hat than this. The draft, not the easiest for them to execute. Now, the mid lane inhibitor tower, the target for BLG. No Baron for them though.
Yeah.
Makes the siege a little bit
イン
harder.
ファーナルソウルパンチが
Superman
飛ん
is
で
pushing
く
in
る
bot
ぞ
wave, but second will join its comrade.
何かかするだけでも
Storm
飛んで
goes
くる
across to push that back out. Will take him a
ジャ
little
バ
bit
ンの
of
旗
time,
で
but
も
looks
飛んで
like
くる
BLG satisfied with what they've got for now. Just want to deny the jungle, deny this red, deny everything from Gen G.
So it looks like the BLG are just going to wait for the Baron. They're so strong at this point that they can probably 2 or 3 man it. So you can just have Bin sit in the jungle and try and zone away Gen G. Maybe have On work with him as well, while the other 3 members of BLG just secure the objective. You can see that Jun not even choosing to base, still has his control ward available. Full vision denial on the top side of the map. Gen G just, they don't see anything. It is completely dark on this top side. Chovy's too scared to
何
even
個分
last hit.
3個分ぐらいですか僕のパンチ
There's
3
no
個
way
分ぐらい
Shun's
の威
still in
力
the
です
jungle, right? Right? Nope, he's still there, and he will be spotted now. He wants to try and protect this vision. The bot wave pushing in as well, thanks to the super minions. No TP available for Doran, means that Chovy's going to be forced to go and answer it. Blue buff being picked up by Yagao, who's now level 16 as well. Just Gen G need a miracle steal, and even then they need another one.
I mean, look at the item discrepancies,
Yeah,
right? Chovy doesn't
Oh, yeah.
even have a
逆転
mythic.
が
Pays is sitting on like 2.5,
難しい
whereas Elk is approaching 4. Shun, obviously, monstrously strong, has the Shojin finished as well. Gen G, it's a 13k gold deficit here. You're fighting against Infernal Soul.
これ
Even
バロ
with
ン
a
取ら
steal,
せてくれるのか
I don't think it's enough.
The thing is, even if it's a steal, you get the fight that you look
取らせ
for.
ても
But
らえず
Peanut decides against flashing in and trying to smite the Baron. Superman is
スティ
pushing
ール
in the
の
bottom
チャンス
lane.
もない
Reset starting to happen from Yagao. He can TP into these supers. Baron buffed them up quickly and
スー
sent
パーミニョン
TPs
が
to the
落
mid
ち
lane to join his team
落ち
because
壊して
he
ま
knows
す
Chovy has to answer the minions.
いやー
battering
無理だこれ
down the
無理
base.
だ
Shun goes
守れない
forward with the flag and drag, and that's another inhibitor
こ
tower
こういう状
forfeit
況になったら
by
もう
Gen
終わり
G
なんだよ
and
な
happily taken by
バロンバフス
BLG.
ーパーミニョンを処理するの
Time
不
is
可能
running
だか
out
ら
for Gen G, at least in this game. Maybe in Worlds,
ファイト
they
するし
can't
かないん
find a
だけ
way
ど
to fight back against BLG in Game 3.
BLG
Oi,
were
最後の
underdogs
思い出
at
ファイ
the
トが
side. They're underdogs
始まります
again at Worlds, but despite that, they stand strong and they're looking to go to match point against Gen G.
It has
思い
been
出ファイト行くぞ
destruction, demolition, the most one-sided
いやーフラッシュ
series
イコライザー
we
で
have
焼かれ
seen
て
in a while
体力
here
が
at
ないですよ
Worlds. Peanut
戦えま
has
せ
to
ん
flash away. The cataclysm in
いや
will
ザヤ
end
強すぎ
Chovy's a day, and now Doran and the rest of Gen G can only stand and watch on the fountain, but even there
う
they
め
are not safe
何もさせ
from
て
the
もらえず
unending
ジェンジ
assault of BLG.
1試合目も敗北
And BLG 2-0.
Jinx.
Game number 1, it felt was, at least in the early game, a little bit even. A couple of